What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today we have a nice surprise. Our show is Being the Leader of Your Life with a guest, Laleh Hancock. And it's abundance is everywhere. I'm a medical doctor, also certified facilitator with access consciousness, as well as Akashic Record teacher and founder of a school of Akashic Records. And today we'll be talking about being the leader of your life. So taking care of the family, friends, and everything at work comes easy to most. They have the ability to juggle many things. However, where are they on the priority list of their own needs and desires? What if being told not to be selfish was actually a lie? What is required to create greater for you and those around you? So here is Laleh Hancock, who is a certified facilitator, conscious parent, seasoned executive, and lifelong entrepreneur. She's committed in both her professional and personal life to inspiring and empowering others to recognize greater potential in themselves and create profound wellness in their bodies and lives. Laleh boasts nearly 30 years experience in operational excellence, cultural change, personal and corporate wellness. She has inspired and empowered millions of individuals, businesses, executives, families, athletes, and veterans, and believes that through curiosity of questions and use of pragmatic tools, every person can have wellness in all facets of your life. Welcome, Laleh. How are you today?
Hi, beautiful. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to have you on the show. So, can you tell us a little bit about what it means for you, like that topic? What is that?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Leadership has always been something that's been part of my life in business and in many things. However, making me priority, including me, was not always on the list. And one of the things I discovered along the way was how when we are the ones who are just giving, we deplete our own energy. We deplete our own lives. But when when we're part of making us priority, we actually include everyone and everything. And not only does it expand our lives, but it expands the lives of everyone, whether it's our families, our friends, our clients, even strangers that you meet on the street, because there's a different energy that you're willing to be when you include you in your life and living. And so this has been a hot topic for me for a while. And for a long time, when you could travel, I used to travel around the world, actually showcasing this book that I'm in, also talking about the leadership of what's required for you to be the leader today, but also for the future.
So what is that? Such a yummy topic.
You know, the first thing I would say is, can you guys just for like this time that we're together, Helen and I are going to have about an hour together. Like during this hour, what if we would let go of the definitions that we have of what even is a leader? Because that's starting point. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, most people think, oh, a leader, that's a job, you know, that's somebody who gets paid to be a leader. It's somebody who went to special schooling, you know, they got their master's degree or something like that. But some of the best leaders may not even have a degree. It's this innate thing that is within you. You can have a 2-year-old or a 10-year-old who's a leader and have a 50-year-old that's not. So, you know, so it's not about age. It's not about where you grew up. It's not even about the schooling. It's like, what is it that you would like to add to your life? What is it you like to add into the world? And what can you put in place today that allows that to actualize?
Wow, that's amazing. So being a leader has nothing to do with having followers.
Well, it depends on who you ask. So there's different variations of leadership. You know, there's the dictatorship. And no, actually, it's funny. I did a presentation for organization. I did a 6-month leadership program for them. And one of my slides, actually, I went through the different kinds of leaders. And one is the dictator, because then people start to see the moments in their lives when they are the dictator, because that's sometimes required. It's an energy that is required sometimes. But if you're the dictator all the time, you may not have a lot of people who want to go where you're going.
Yeah.
So no, on a serious note, like with leadership, it's not black and white. And if I follow A and B, therefore C will happen. It's like that willingness just to start any moment, like right now. Each person who's listening to this, either it's now or in the future, like if you were to look at your life and just say, okay, it doesn't matter what I was choosing even 10 seconds ago, right this second, what would I like to add to my life that's not in my life right now? Who would I like to add to my life? Maybe someone's looking for someone to add to their lives. Maybe they're looking for someone to add to their business. Maybe they're looking for, adding more wealth into their lives, whatever that thing is. But just start from that moment and say, okay, I'm going to actually commit to me having this.
Amazing. So the commitment to yourself is kind of like one of the things that makes people a leader. Because when we take care of everybody else, are we actually leading? And are we being a leader? To me, it's not.
Well, Helen, I think it just depends again on who it is. Some people have made that be the formula to their lives and they make it work. But I found most people, they don't function that way. And if everything is about everyone else, you leave you at the last part of the table. Now, I'll tell you, that's who I was, many moments in my life. Yeah, I think many people could raise their hand and say, yeah, been there, done that. Yeah, it didn't create always the greatest, But I used to even tell people I came on this planet to take care of everyone else. That was my job. Like I had given myself that job and it was tiresome. It's so tiresome to take care of everybody else. You can't even because everyone has choice. And so one of the things I realized when I have twin girls, they're now 24. And when they were babies, it's like we have a different kind of role as parents. But one of the things that I always taught my kids is for them to choose for themselves. Even when they were 2, even when they were 2 years old, even when they were 10 years old, because these are the things. Being the leader isn't about waiting till you're 45 or 50 years old and becoming the leader of your life. What if we can start empowering children to know that they can be leaders? And as leaders, it's about that starting point of choice. Now, a 2-year-old may not know what you're talking about, but innately they do.
Oh, they do. I think well, maybe not so much 2, but definitely 5-year-olds. They definitely know what they desire and they go for it. Even 2-year-olds too.
A 2-year-old knows it wants a toy and it's going to do whatever it takes to get it, even if it gets for you to stop the car in the middle of the street and go buy them the toy. They will do whatever is required. And see, that's the gift. When you were little, you were a leader of your life and living, and you didn't care what was required. But somewhere along the way, we were told you're selfish, you are wrong, you shouldn't ask for this, other people don't have, and therefore, we get into the story of all the reasons that we can't have something. And we learn that statement at the beginning, the selfish, the selfish. And we start to exclude ourselves in everything. Until someone says to you, hey, have you considered you today?
When did that started? Because I know for me, it started when I kind of like took my first class in access consciousness. I realized that it's kind of like, wait, there is something else possible.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think it depends for different people. For me, it started before I came to Access. I even did a workshop at a huge conference in Maryland, the Caregiver Conference of the Year. And it was about you being you. It's so funny. All the things you know before you know. Being you and actually being the leader of your life. That was actually the title of the workshop. And so I think it's that we may know different energies of this. We may have had different awarenesses along the way, but there's something that gets activated that kind of sparks the curiosity to want to know more. And for you, it might have been that, in one of the amazing classes that Dr. Dane here facilitates called, Being You, Changing the World.
Yep.
And that might have been where it got activated. But truly, even in business, leadership has always been one of my specialties in consulting and working with different kinds of organizations. And they never tell you to be you. They used to tell you, these are the best practices. This is how you should lead. This is how a good leader is. Where in reality, it's the opposite. It's you cannot be something someone else is. You can only be who you are, and you can expand your abilities and your skills and your awareness. But when you're trying to do it someone else's way, you literally have to cut off pieces of you to try to fit the box to be like them.
Exactly. And I love what you're saying. It's time for our first break of the show. So we will continue our discussion about leadership, about how to change our lives to have more of that, more consciousness there, and more abundance. So you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease, with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. I've been doing a lot of different spiritual and conscious modalities. And today our show topic is being the leader of your life with our wonderful guest, Laleh Hancock. And Laleh, before we went on the break, we were talking a little bit about you kind of like being in a leadership role and dealing with leadership for a while now, for many years. And I know how our lives change and things shift. I always kind of like a tricky question. How was your life, let's say 5, 7, 10 years ago compared to what it is now? And what are you seeing to be your life in 5 years?
Wow, so much. How does it get better? It's interesting. Luckily, my life has always changed. I'm one of those crazy people that loves change. And like the yesterdays have never looked like the tomorrows. And so when I look at 5 years ago, I was in a very different place just in my career as well as my personal life. And one of the things that has always been really important for me is to empower others to have more in their lives, more awareness, more consciousness, more joy, more creations, and being able to expand their lives and living. And so I would say, with that also came for me to look at my personal life and see that the direction that my husband and I were going was not the same direction either. And what I love about him and me and what we had was that we always honored each other's differences. We always, we probably had the 15-year relationship that had like one fight in it. You know what I mean? Like we actually had this amazing honoring of communication. And one of the things that I realized probably at this point 5 or 4 years ago was that we were headed in different directions. So a lot has changed, I would say, in the last 5 years in my life. He's still a friend. We still have a lot of things that we do together. And yet also, right now I'm in Portugal. I came to Portugal for 9 days, almost a year ago,
Still there? I thought you were already home.
I know. Let's see what else is possible today. But yeah, so one of the things I realized is that, my target, the big target hasn't changed, but what was required on a day-to-day basis for me, what was required for me to look out for now, to create the future that I desire to create, required for me to change. And so, one of the things about being the leader of your life and living is your willingness every day to look at what your future is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you say, okay, today I'm going to be the leader of my life and living, and therefore I'm done. I did the homework and now I'm just going to go into maintenance mode. Mm-hmm. Being the leader of your life and living is your willingness to look at where would I like to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. And the business too. Where would the business like to be in a year or 5 years or 10 years? And then like, what can we put in place today that allows us to create for today, but also be able to create the futures that are also going to be required. And so, when I look at even literally yesterday, I was looking at, where I'm living, where I'm looking at some projects right now globally to bring, one of my businesses is a wellness center business. And so right now I'm talking to people in Dubai and Marrakesh and some other places and designing wellness centers for them. And so I really had to keep looking at, you know, what is going to be fun, but also like what will create greater for me and the world. And, you know, as you're saying,
love that question.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that for our listeners? We kind of
Because
skimmed over it, but that's kind of a mic drop right there.
see, most of us don't realize your choices are not just for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and being the leader of your life means that you're not waiting for others to make choices before you make the choices. But all our choices becomes an energy, becomes a space and an availability that I chose it, but now it's available for you, Helen. It's available for anybody else who would like that to be there, you know, so their path becomes easier. So our choices has to be that it's not just a choice that's like for at this moment, but it's these choices that actually plant the seed and create the future, but not just for you and the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and so, you know, when I think about the next 5 years, I really wonder, like I have some futures, not the whole idea of future is that it's not solid, you know, it's not molded, but you keep inspiring every day to what that future can be. And, so when I look at in 5 years, I'm actually super excited because everything that I've been speaking to people about, traveling around the world every week in a new country about empowering people about wellness, it's now to a point where people are actually seeing it from a bigger space, you know? And so I really wonder what the next 5 years will bring. I just know I love the planet and I have a lot of initiatives that I'm doing with the planet. And I'm looking forward to a thriving planet in 5 years.
Yeah, that's, I think, probably one of the goal of the leader, not the goal, but the target of the leader is the planet, more so than even people are. I love that. So with all of that, how do you balance, or kind of like your family, the kids, your life, and especially you, like you started with, that we forget a lot about our needs and desires when we're taking care of everybody else. So you're being busy in the world, creating the consciousness, creating the wellness, creating all those wellness centers. How do you actually take care of you and being present there?
Yeah. You know, it's every day is different. Even today, I finally got my bars run. If you guys don't know, Access Bars is one of the most magical things on the planet. You lay down and someone touches your head and there's 32 points. And when they touch it, it's like you release the monkey mind, you release the stress, you release like all the tension and everything that's going on in your body. And we've been in lockdown here in Portugal the last 5.5 weeks, and they just said they're going to extend it another month, which I'm like, no, I'm leaving. I'm going out of here. But one of the things is like, you do have to listen to your body. And so for me, during this lockdown, more than ever, I've had to listen to my body differently. Like, even though you want to work, it might be that you have to go for a walk, or you might have to just a moment, turn off your laptop, sit and just be present with your body. And just, you know, you could just close your eyes, put your feet firm on the ground and just say restoration of communion with earth, and repeat that: restoration of communion with earth, restoration of communion with earth. And just become more, I don't want to say grounded, because that always had the wonkiest feeling for me when I would hear the word grounded, like someone's like, you know, paddling me down to the ground. But this communion with the earth, this, your tendrils like going in, like almost like your feet are going into the dirt and going under into the earth, and the earth is just like hugging you, you know?
Love it. And usually every week when I do the show, we have a tool of the week. So what if we use that? It's kind of like can be a body process as well as like grounding, but it's not grounding. I agree with you. It's exactly the communion.
Yeah. Can we do an exercise together?
Absolutely. I love that.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask everyone, unless you're driving. Okay. If you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Okay. Maybe you pull over. But just for a moment, if you guys can close your eyes.
I'll do that too.
Yes. And then your feet, both of them firm on the ground. And anytime you have 3 points of connection, you are just in total communion with your body. So your feet firm on the ground, your bum on some seat or a bed or a couch or whatever you are. And then your hands can be on your cheeks. It can be on your lap, or it could be on your belly. And just for a moment, just relax and just say hello to your body. And like wiggle your toes and say hello to your toes.
Hi, buddy.
Hello, toes. How you doing? And then would you guys be willing just to take a breath from under your feet and let it come all the way to the top of your head? And as you let it go, would you be willing to let it go like rain coming down your body and down into the earth? And breathe in again. And as you let it go, now let go all your stress from today. Anything that was going on with the family, work, anybody. Just let that wash off of your body and down into the earth. And then one more breath. And now as you let it go, anything that you no longer require, any lies, any problems, everyone else's stuff that you've been holding on to on your shoulders, just set it free and let it go back down into the earth. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.
Love it. I'm so relaxed right now.
I mean, we could do it a little longer, but just for people to see how quickly that communion with your body, but it's also the communion with the earth, because your body is the earth, you know?
Exactly. And we were talking about bars, those 32 points on the head. And I mentioned the body processes, which is hands-on, yummy energy work that allows the body to heal itself. Are the tools of access consciousness that we've both been part for close to 10 years. I think you're longer, right?
No, actually I'm over 9 years. Yeah.
9 years. Yeah. So I'm a little bit under 9 years. So it's been such a joy using those tools. And by the way, I did the bars class yesterday, which was so yummy. And I did get my bars run yesterday.
Lucky you.
I know. And it was such a gift to be present and see how much people allow themselves to let go and change and be with all the energies. It's time for our second break of the show, though. So we will be talking more about access consciousness, about being a leader after we come back. And I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And you've been listening to radio show on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, You'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time. This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is being the leader of your life with our wonderful, amazing leader, guest, Laleh Hancock. And before we went on the break, we were kind of talking about access consciousness and the tools. And I know that you have to jump off a little bit earlier. I'm kind of like leaking out the secret that you're doing being your book club. Can you say more about that? And maybe some of our listeners can read the book and maybe listen to the book club.
Yeah. So Dr. Dane here, he's one of the creators or co-creators of Access Consciousness. And, over 20 years ago, he actually had a date scheduled for, his suicide because he just realized that life was just not great for him. He just couldn't get happy. And one of the things he did is he made that commitment and a request to the universe, that if things don't change, he's actually taking his life. And we're lucky he didn't choose that route. But like you said, he went and had a session and had the Access run and learn some pragmatic tools. And so he has a program called Being You, Changing the World. And he's created a book that was published, I think 12 or 14 years ago, called Being You, Changing the World. And this book, it's so magical. I mean, I've personally read it, I don't even know how many times. And I've been part of so many book clubs and so many events and his classes. And yet it just seems like as you change, so does this book. It's like the words change, or what you receive from the book changes all the time.
It does. It's so weird. Every time I open it up, read from that, there's always inspiration and it's always different.
Yeah. And, he puts to words, I think, what a lot of us experience in life and the things we choose that at the time just didn't make sense. And there was no word or no one was really talking about it. And so as you read this book, it's letting go. I don't know, I'm going to say scars and problems and all the places you see you as this terrible person or this person that made this mistake or that mistake, and really to see how different you are and what a gift you are, and the ways that the things that you made yourself wrong for, what if they were exactly what was required to create the world that we have today, which has so much more consciousness on the planet. And with his book also, there's many different kinds. You guys can go to the Amazon, check it there, or you can go to accessconsciousness.com/shop. And digital version, you know, I have the ebook, I have the audio, I have the physical book, I have it in every format possible, you know. But yeah, there's lots of different ways. And also, you know, he has upcoming classes called Being You, Changing the World, that really are transformational. And I've taken so many of these Being You classes. I'm a Being You facilitator, just as you are. And each time I'm learning something new, I'm discovering something new about myself and what's truly possible for me to choose. And so this is one of those transformational things that just keeps giving, you know.
Absolutely. I resisted to being you facilitator for a few years and finally gave in, because that is pretty much it. When you're being you, you're a leader. When you're being you, you're happy. When you're being you, it's kind of like changes everything around you, including people and places. And at least it changes my life.
The thing is, like, I'm not sure, like, I know there were moments before Access that I had this whole, I didn't call it Being You, Changing the World, but it was like, you know, I did have Becoming You. I did actually have some of the similar words in some of the things that I had done, but we don't realize we're not being us. You know, like I remember, oh yeah, I'm a mom. I'm a daughter, I'm an executive, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, you know, I'm an aunt. And so I had all these categories of what I was, where the difference of being you is there's no sections of you. You're actually allowing all of you and all of your gifts and superpowers and your brilliance actually be all of you, but you'll know in this environment, maybe this is what they require for you to say, or in this environment, maybe this is more of what's required, but you don't cut off pieces of you. And I have to say, this isn't like, for me personally, I didn't find it that it's like black and white, like one day you're cutting off pieces of you and one day you're not. I think it's just, this is an everyday choice that you're saying, you know what, today I am the infinite being that I am. And today I'm going to honor me. And, you know, there's 5 elements of intimacy that we talk about in Access. And, you know, being grateful for you, trusting you, being vulnerable with you, honoring you, and having allowance for you. And these things, every day is different, you know, like how you are willing and how it affects other things when you're not in allowance of you and you blame yourself and you make yourself wrong. Like it has these domino effects to not just you, to the people you touch, to your business, to your finances, and so many other things. So I highly recommend it. If you guys have not read this book, you know, or if you don't like to read, listen to his audiobook, which is amazing, has an incredible voice, and the energy of it, it just exudes to so much joy.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know there are a few programs that you are actually facilitating. Can you let people know about them so you're not hiding?
Yes. We actually have one called Being Magic, The Adventures of Being You. And now it's on March 16th through the 18th. We have it that we split it into 3 days of 2 hours each. And it really is like, we have so many gifts that we don't even realize we have. And when you start to pull away the covers of who you think you are and to allow the real you to shine, you be magic. You actually be so many things. And you could use that magic to bring more joy into your life and expand your business, make more money, whatever it is that you'd like to do. And I also facilitate what's called Right Voice for You. and Right Voice for You. I'm going to be in Mexico City March the 8th through the 10th for that. And it's going to be available online too. We have Turkish, we have Japanese, we have all sorts of languages that are a part of this one. And for me, like Helen was saying, being you is at the core of everything. And with Right Voice for You, it's the same thing. You're removing the masks. And most people think my voice is just this tone that comes out of my mouth. No, it's so much more than that. Your body language, you saying absolutely nothing. It's the voice of you, the voice of your creations, the voice of your business. It's the voice of your life. And so, you know, when you start putting all of these in play, it's just incredible what gets created. And lots of other classes too.
Yeah, and people can find you on your website. I think you have like 3 or 4 websites.
Yeah, I do. We have different businesses. Globalwellnessforall.com and Facebook Global Wellness for All has access to everything that we're doing, all the programs and all the classes that we have coming up.
Love that. And Laleh, I think you said you have a gift for people who are listening now and possibly in the future.
Exactly. So I actually have a program that's launching in March called Being the Leader of Your Life. And this program will have lots of different cool tools. And I'm happy to gift it to the people that are listening to Helen's show. And all you have to do is, with the link below, you'll just add abundance as your special code, and it's all lower letters. And then you'll get to access the program as a gift from us.
Wow, that's so generous. Thank you, Laleh. It's amazing.
Well, I'm really grateful for you, and I'm grateful for your listeners, because, you know, this whole idea of like leadership and having you be the leader of your life is something that sometimes people shy away from because they don't want to be the leader of their life. You know, they're concerned of what that might look like and the responsibilities that come along with it. But the moment that you actually make you priority, the minute you make a commitment to you and close your back doors to things, is when you no longer are being affected by everyone else, because everyone wants to give you an opinion of what you should do, who you should be, where you should go. And it's really easy then to also be bitter and hate them for it. But when you close the door and you're committing to your life and living, that's a different story. And you get to actually create the today and the future that you desire, not just live at the effect of everyone else's.
Yeah, I love that. It's time for our third and final break of the show. And I'd love to talk more about the back door, because that's kind of like you mentioned, but a lot of people have no idea what the back door is and how it stops them from actually being present in their life, being the leader in their life. So you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is being the leader of your life with our wonderful guest, Laleh Hancock. And before we went on a break, we were talking about in order to be a leader and be present in your life, you have to close your back door. So what is back door? Because people think back door in a house, back door in a work.
That's true. I don't know that I even knew what the back door was until the last 9 years. It's interesting. I'm going to ask people a question.
Mm-hmm.
So when things go wrong, or you think it's gone wrong, who do you blame? Do you blame you?
Yeah.
Do you blame someone else? Do you blame something else? And most of us don't realize that, as children, it's really funny. As children, you were leaders. You were willing to go wherever you wanted to go until you pretty much learned from your parents, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But our innate capacities and your awareness knows exactly where you need to go. And so, with the back door, a lot of it is that we have learned it's about making everyone else priority. It's about doing it other people's ways. It's about, there's always lots of different things that you could choose. But the moment you're willing to actually say, you know what, the life that I've been creating, even if it's been fantastic, if I really want to have a greater life, I'm going to be present. I'm actually going to be aware, and I'm going to be the one choosing. And to do that, we say that commitment to you, that willingness for you to partner with your body and say, okay, no more hiding and no more making excuses of any of this. Then you actually become more present. Okay, now, if I want to create this life, what's required of me? Because there's a level of vulnerability that you have to be willing to have with you. And vulnerability means different things. I think dictionary has its own little definition, but it's at the end of the day, your willingness to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a definition I like. Because a lot of people think of vulnerability as being a doormat, and allowing people to walk over them.
Nope.
Not.
No, it's from within you. It's your willingness to be honest with you. And, we have things that we're not happy about. There's some choices we made in life that we would say we're embarrassed about, or, for whatever reason, you've made it be a scar in your life. But what if it doesn't have to be? And if we're willing to say, okay, I know I've made choices that I probably wouldn't do the same again. But if you're willing to actually erase all of the yesterdays, who you are is who you are. You can erase yesterday and still be whoever you are. Okay. However, what if you no longer had to be tied or defined to the problems of yesterday? You didn't have to be tied to a decision that you had made, or even I think where most people, this whole leadership for me is like your commercial says, what if you didn't have to be tied to karma anymore? Mm-hmm. I know you do some other things, you do access consciousness, you do lots of different other things that helps people get rid of that. Mm-hmm. But so often we're haunted by something that's not even real. It could have been
that they not even real, because things happened in 1,000 years ago, and we're still trying to come up with ways to change things that no longer relevant to the present life, and be upset.
But even yesterday,
it's no longer relevant.
Or even, exactly. But how often do we keep the reference point of yesterday? So if we're willing to let go all those reference points and truly forgive ourselves, this whole allowance, I was saying the 5 elements, it's to allow you to be you, allow others to be them, not make them wrong or right, make you wrong or right, but truly from space of neutrality. Like, okay, I'm those decisions. Okay. Now what? What's my new choice today? What are the new options that are available in my life? What can I choose now? And when you're willing to close those back doors, you're no longer making the back door, the escaping out of the back door, the running away, the hiding important, but you're making it that I am going to be present in my life, and I'm going to make choices and decisions to what's going to create greater for me now in the future. And keep, Access has this one tool called 10-second increments of choice. Like, you have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. What do you choose?
Yeah, I love that tool.
10 seconds is up. Now what do you choose?
I use that tool. 10 seconds is up. What other tools can we use? Yeah, I was
so if we
go ahead.
If we really have that infiniteness, okay, to choose from, it doesn't matter what you choose. It doesn't matter what mistakes. It doesn't matter because at this moment, now what are you going to choose? You can sit and ponder all the ways you can make yourself wrong, which will create worse things in the world. The planet needs us to be happy and create, not be in misery and pain and suffering, which adds more pain and suffering to the earth. So if you could add anything to your life that brings you joy, what would it be?
Love that. And that's a question I've been asking myself pretty much every day lately, just to change the vibration that's been going on the planet. Not so much even in my life. And we have just a few minutes left of the show, actually, just like 3 minutes. So grateful for you, Laleh, and so grateful for everybody who's been listening to us today. And I'm just going to say a few words about what's coming up. Laleh's class is going to be up, and you can find out about her on her websites. Not one website, but multiple websites. And that will be in the description of the show. In every platform, you can find the recording of the podcast, pretty much on every podcast platform, including iTunes, Spotify, and on the website as well. So, and you've been listening to me, Dr. Helen Gitlevich. I will have a few classes coming up as well, including the Being You Adventure in March 21st, as well as Access Foundation and the Body class in March. So check it out on the websites. Check out our Instagram, Facebook. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of free webinars, free gifts that both of us did, and a lot of other facilitators did on YouTube. Dr. Dane does Tour of Consciousness. That's amazing. And accessconsciousness.com holds a lot of classes, a lot of tools that you can use in everyday life. You can take classes, but if you don't have to, some people just listen to the free stuff, and eventually they create money. They create their life the way they desire, and then they might take a class or 2 or 5. I kind of dived in, and just check us out. Next week, I'll have another wonderful guest, Rachel Silber, and we'll be talking about out of control. Ooh. What it means to be out of control, to be out of those reference points. Like we were talking about, we have things happened yesterday, our karma, all of those things that keeps us kind of like limited in a controlled box. So what would happen if we be totally out of control? And you can join us for 30 by 30. We're doing clearings on out of control 30 times 30 days and sometimes in different languages. It's in being you without hiding. Love you all. And you've been listening to Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.